Welcome to American Accent Training. This book and CD set is designed to get you started on your American accent. We'll follow the book and go through the 13 lessons and all the exercises step by step. Everything is explained, and a complete answer key may be found in the back of the text. What is accent? Accent is a combination of three main components: intonation, speech music, liaisons, word connections, and pronunciation, the spoken sounds of vowels, consonants, and combinations. As you go along, you'll notice that you're being asked to look at accent in a different way. You'll also realize that the grammar you studied before and this accent you're studying now are completely different. Part of the difference is that grammar and vocabulary are systematic and structured, the letter of the language. Accent, on the other hand, is free-form, intuitive, and creative, more the spirit of the language. So, thinking of music, feeling, and flow, let your mouth relax into the American accent. Can I learn a new accent? Can a person actually learn a new accent? Many people feel that after a certain age, it's just not possible. Can classical musicians play jazz? If they practice, of course they can. For your American accent, it's just a matter of learning and practicing techniques this book and CD set will teach you. It's up to you to use them or not. How well you do depends mainly on how open and willing you are to sounding different from the way you've sounded all your life. A very important thing you need to remember is that you can use your accent to say what you mean and how you mean it. Word stress conveys meaning through tone or feeling, which can be much more important than the actual words that you use. We'll cover the expression of these feelings through intonation in the first lesson. You may have noticed that I talk fast and often run my words together. You've probably heard enough English teacher English where everything is pronounced without having to listen too carefully. That's why on the CDs we're going to talk just like the native speakers that we are, in a normal conversational tone. Native speakers may often tell people who are learning English to slow down and to speak clearly. This is meant with the best of intentions, but it's exactly the opposite of what a student really needs to do. If you speak fairly quickly and with strong intonation, you'll be understood more easily. To illustrate this point, you'll hear a Vietnamese student first trying to speak slowly and carefully, and then repeating the same words quickly and with strong intonation. Studying, this exercise took her only about 2 minutes to practice, but the difference makes her sound as if she'd been in America for many years. Please listen. You'll hear the same words twice.
Hello, my name is Mui. I'm taking American accent training. Hello, my name is Mui. I'm taking American accent training.
You may have to listen to this CD a couple of times to catch everything. To help you, every word on the CD is also written in the book. By seeing and hearing simultaneously, you'll learn to reconcile the differences between the appearance of English, spelling, and the sound of English, pronunciation, and the other aspects of accent. The CD leaves a rather short pause for you to repeat into. The point of this is to get you responding quickly and without spending too much time thinking about your response. Accent versus pronunciation. Many people equate accent with pronunciation. I don't feel this to be true at all. America is a big country, and while the pronunciation varies from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the southern to the northern states, two components that are uniquely American stay basically the same: the speech music, or intonation, and the word connections, or liaisons. Throughout this program, we'll focus on them. In the latter part of the book, we'll work on pronunciation concepts such as cat, caught, cut, and Betty bought a bit of better butter. We'll also work our way through some of the difficult sounds such as TH, the American R, the L, V, and Z. Which accent is correct? American Accent Training was created to help people sound American for lectures, interviews, teaching, business situations, and general daily communication. Although America has many regional pronunciation differences, the accent you will learn is that of standard American English as spoken and understood by the majority of educated native speakers in the United States. Don't worry that you'll sound slangy or too casual, because you most definitely won't. This is the way a professor lectures to a class, the way a national newscaster broadcasts, the way that is most comfortable and familiar to the majority of native speakers. Why is my accent so bad? Learners can be seriously hampered by a negative outlook, so I'll address this very important point early. First, your accent is not bad. It is non-standard to the American ear. There's a joke that goes, what do you call a person who can speak 3 languages? Trilingual. What do you call a person who can speak only 2 languages? Bilingual. What do you call a person who can only speak 1 language? American. Every language is equally valid or good, so every accent is good. The average American, however, truly does have a hard time understanding a non-standard accent. George Bernard Shaw said that the English and Americans are 2 people divided by the same language. Some students learn to overpronounce English because they naturally want to say the word as it is written. Too often, an English teacher may allow this, perhaps thinking that colloquial English is unsophisticated, unrefined, or even incorrect. Not so at all. Just as you don't say the T in listen, the double T in better is pronounced D, better. Any other pronunciation will sound foreign, strange, wrong, or different to a native speaker. Less than it appears, more than it appears. As you will see in Exercise 121, Squeezed Out Syllables on page 18, some words appear to have 3 or more syllables, but all of them are not actually spoken. For example, business is not business, but rather business. Just when you get used to eliminating whole syllables from words, you're going to come across other words that look as if they have only 1 syllable, but really need to be said with as many as 3. In addition, the inserted syllables are filled with letters that are not in the written word. I'll give you 2 examples of this strange phenomenon. Pool looks like a nice 1-syllable word, but if you say it this way, at best it will sound like pool, and at worst it will be unintelligible to your listener. For clear comprehension, you need to say 3 syllables, pool. Where did that W come from? It's certainly not written down anywhere, but it is there just as definitely as the P is there. The second example is a word like feel. If you say just the letters that you see, it will sound more like feel or fill. You need to say feel. Is that really a Y? Yes. These mysterious semivowels are explained under liaisons in Chapter 2. They can appear either inside a word, as you have seen, or between words, as you will learn. Language is fluent and fluid. Just like your own language, conversational English has a very smooth, fluid sound. Imagine that you're walking along a dry riverbed with your eyes closed. Every time you come to a rock, you trip over it, stop, continue, and trip over the next rock. This is how the average foreigner speaks English. It is slow, awkward, and even painful. Now imagine that you're a great river rushing through that same riverbed. Rocks are no problem, are they? You just slide over and around them without ever breaking your smooth flow. It is this feeling that I want you to capture in English. Changing your old speech habits is very similar to changing from a stick shift to an automatic transmission. Yes, you continue to reach for the gear shift for a while, and your foot still tries to find the clutch pedal, but this soon phases itself out. In the same way, you may still say telephone call instead of call for a while, but this too will soon pass. You'll also have to think about your speech more than you do now. In the same way that you were very aware and self-conscious when you first learned to drive, you'll eventually relax and deal with the various components simultaneously. A new accent is an adventure. Be bold. Exaggerate wildly. You may worry that Americans will laugh at you for putting on an accent, but I guarantee you they won't even notice. They'll just think that you finally learned to talk right. Good luck with your new accent. Welcome to American Accent Training. A few words on pronunciation. I'd like to introduce you to the pronunciation guide outlines in the following chart. There aren't too many characters that are different from the standard alphabet, but just so you'll be familiar with them, look at the chart. It shows 8 tense vowels and 6 lax vowels and semivowels. Tense vowels, lax vowels. In some books, tense vowels are called long and lax vowels are called short. Since you'll be learning how to lengthen vowels when they come before a voiced consonant, it would be confusing to say that hen has a long, short vowel. It's more descriptive to say that it has a lax vowel that is doubled or lengthened. Here are the tense vowels. A, take. E, eat. I, ice. O, hope. Oo, smooth. Ah, caught. Ah, cat. Ow, down. Here are the lax vowels. Get. It. Took. Some. And the semivowels. Her. All. Dull. Voiced consonants, unvoiced consonants. A consonant is a sound that causes 2 points of your mouth to come into contact in 3 locations: the lips, the tip of the tongue, and the throat. A consonant can either be unvoiced, whispered, or voiced, spoken, and it can appear at the beginning, middle, or end of a word. You'll notice that for some categories, a particular sound doesn't exist in English. Telephone tutoring. Preliminary diagnostic analysis. This is a speech analysis to identify the strengths and weaknesses of your American accent. If you're studying American accent training on your own, please contact toll-free 800-457-4255 or AmericanAccent.com for a referral to a qualified telephone analyst. The diagnostic analysis is designed to evaluate your current speech patterns to let you know where your accent is standard and non-standard. Welcome to American Accent Training. Chapter 1, American Intonation. The American Speech Music. What to do with your mouth to sound American. One of the main differences between the way an American talks and the way the rest of the world talks is that we don't really move our lips. So when an American says, "read my lips," what does he really mean? We create most of our sounds in the throat using our tongue very actively. If you hold your fingers over your lips or clench your jaws when you practice speaking American English, you'll find yourself much closer to native-sounding speech than if you try to pronounce every single sound very carefully. If you can relate American English to music, remember that the indigenous music is jazz. Listen to their speech music and you'll hear that Americans have a melodic, jazzy way of producing sounds. Imagine the sound of a cello when you say "Betty bought a bit of better butter," and you'll be close to the native way of saying it. Because most Americans came from somewhere else, American English reflects the accent contributions of many lands. The speech music has become much more exaggerated than British English, developing a strong and distinctive intonation. If you use this intonation, not only will you be easier to understand, but you'll sound much more confident, dynamic, and persuasive. Intonation, or speech music, is the sound that you hear when a conversation is too far away to be clearly audible, but close enough for you to tell the nationality of the speakers. The American intonation dictates liaisons and pronunciation, and it indicates mood and meaning. Without intonation, your speech would be flat, mechanical, and very confusing for your listener. What is the American intonation pattern? How is it different from other languages? For example, if you hear a Japanese person speaking English, the sound would be very choppy, mechanical, and unemotional to an American. The same way with German peoples. It sounds too stiff. A man from Paris, on the other hand, his intonation goes up at the end of every sentence and has such a strong intonation that he sounds romantic and highly emotional, but this may not be appropriate for a lecture or a business meeting in English. American intonation do's and don'ts. Do not speak word by word. Bob is on the phone. If you speak word by word, as many people who learned printed English do, you'll end up sounding mechanical and foreign. You may have noticed the same thing happens in your own language. When someone reads a speech, even a native speaker, it sounds stiff and stilted, quite different from a normal conversational tone. Connect words to form sound groups. This is where you're going to start doing something completely different than what you've done in your previous English studies. This part is the most difficult for many people because it goes against everything they've been taught. Instead of thinking of each word as a unit, think of sound units. These sound units may or may not correspond to a word written on a page. Native speakers don't say, Bob is on the phone, but say, Bob is on the phone. Sound units make a sentence flow smoothly like peanut butter, never really ending and never really starting, just flowing along. Even chunky peanut butter is acceptable. So long as you don't try to put plain peanuts directly onto your bread, you'll be okay. Use staircase intonation. Let those sound groups floating on the wavy river in the figure flow downhill and you'll get the staircase. Staircase intonation not only gives you that American sound, it also makes you sound much more confident. Not every American uses the downward staircase. A certain segment of the population uses rising staircases, generally teenagers on their way to the shopping mall. Hi, my name is Tiffany. I live in La Cañada. I'm on the Pep Squad. What exactly is staircase intonation? In saying your words, imagine that they come out as if they were bounding lightly down a flight of stairs. Every so often, one jumps up to another level and then starts down again. Americans tend to stretch out their sounds longer than you may think is natural. So to lengthen your vowel sounds, put them on 2 stair steps instead of just 1. Instead of we're here, say we're here. The sound of an American speaking a foreign language is very distinctive because we double sounds that should be single. For example, in Spanish or Japanese, the word no is, to our ear, clipped or abbreviated. No. And in Standard American, no. When you have a word ending in an unvoiced consonant, one that you whisper, t, k, s, x, f, sh, you'll notice that the preceding vowel is said quite quickly and on a single stair step. When a word ends in a vowel or a voiced consonant, one that you say, b, d, g, z, v, j, j, the preceding vowel is said more slowly and on a double stair step. Unvoiced, seat. Voiced, seed. There are 2 main consequences of not doubling the second category of words. Either your listener will hear the wrong word, or even worse, you'll always sound upset. Consider that the words curt, short, terse, abrupt, and clipped all literally mean short. When applied to a person or to language, they take on the meaning of upset or rude. For example, in the expressions, his curt reply, her terse response, or he was very short. Welcome to American Accent Training. Exercise 1-1, Rubber Band Practice with Nonsense Syllables. Take a rubber band and hold it with your 2 thumbs. Every time you want to stress a word by changing pitch, pull on the rubber band. Stretch it out gently, don't jerk it sharply. Make a looping figure with it and do the same with your voice. Use the rubber band and stretch it out every time you change pitch. Read first across, then down. 1. Da-da-da. La-la-la. Me-me-me. Ho-ho-ho. 2. Da-da-da. La-la-la. Me-me-me. Ho-ho-ho. 3. Da-da-da. La-la-la. Me-me-me. Ho-ho-ho. 4. Da-da-da. La-la-la. Me-me-me. Ho-ho-ho. Now down. Column A. Da-da-da. 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 B. La-la-la. 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 C. Me-me-me. 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 D. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Read each column down, keeping the same intonation pattern. A. Da, da, da. A, B, C. 1, 2, 3. Dogs eat bones. Next, column B. Da, da, da. Imprecise. A hot dog. They eat bones. C. Da, da, da. Condition. A hot dog. They eat them. D. Da, da, da. Alphabet. Hot dog stand. Give me one. Staircase intonation. So what is intonation in American English? What do Americans do? We go up and down staircases. We start high and end low. Every time we want to stress a word or an idea, we just start a new staircase. That sounds simple enough, but when and where do you start a new staircase? Statement intonation with nouns. Intonation or pitch change is primarily used to introduce new information. This means that when you're making a statement for the first time, you'll stress the nouns. Dogs eat bones. Exercise 1-2. Noun intonation. Practice the noun stress pattern after me using pitch change. Add your own examples at the end. 1. Dogs eat bones. 2. Mike likes bikes. 3. Elsa wants a book. 4. Adam plays pool. 5. Bobby needs some money. 6. Susie combs her hair. 7. John lives in France. 8. Nellie teaches French. 9. Ben writes articles. 10. Keys open locks. 11. Jerry makes music. 12. Jean sells some apples. 13. Carol paints the car. 14. Bill and I fix the bikes. 15. Ann and Ed call the kids. 16. The kids like the candy. 17. The girls have a choice. 18. The boys need some help. Pause the CD. Practice the patterns 5 more times on your own using your rubber band. Statement intonation with pronouns. When you replace the nouns with pronouns, old information, stress the verb. They eat them. As we have seen, nouns are new information, pronouns are old information. In a nutshell, these are the 2 basic intonation patterns. Dogs eat bones. They eat them. Exercise 1-3, noun and pronoun intonation. In the first column, stress the nouns. In the second column, stress the verb. Fill in your own examples at the bottom. 1. Bob sees Betty. He sees her. 2. Betty knows Bob. She knows him. 3. Ann and Ed call the kids. They call them. 4. Jan sells some apples. She sells some. 5. Jean sells cars. She sells them. 6. Bill and I fix the bikes. We fix them. 7. Carl hears Bob and me. He hears us. 8. Dogs eat bones. They eat them. 9. The girls have a choice. They have one. 10. The kids like the candy. They like it. 11. The boys need some help. They need something. 12. Ellen should call her sister. She should call someone. 13. The murderer killed the plumber. He killed a man. 14. The tourists went shopping. They bought. Welcome to American Accent Training. Statement versus question intonation. You may have learned at some point that questions have a rising intonation. They do, but usually a question will step upward until the very end, where it takes one quick little downward step. A question rises a little higher than a statement with the same intonation pattern. Here's my car. Where's my car? Emotional or rhetorical question intonation. If you know that your car is parked outside, however, and someone doesn't see it and asks you where it is, you might think that it has been stolen, and your emotion will show in your intonation as you repeat the question. As your feelings rise in an emotional situation, your intonation rises up along with them. Where's my car? Why? Is it gone? Exercise 1-4. Sentence Intonation Test. Pause the CD and underline or highlight the words that you think should be stressed. Check the answer key beginning on page 193. Exercise 1-5. 4 main reasons for intonation. Depending on the situation, a word may be stressed for any of the following reasons: new information, opinion, contrast, and the word can't. 1. New information. It sounds like rain. Rain is the new information. It's the most important word in that sentence, and you could replace everything else with da-da-da. Da-da-da rain will still let you get your point across. Repeat, da-da-da rain. It sounds like rain. Make rain very musical and put it on 2 notes. Rain. Da-da-da rain. It sounds like rain. 2. Opinion. It sounds like rain, but I don't think it is. In this case, intonation makes the meaning the opposite of what the words say. It looks like a diamond, but I think it's a zircon. It smells like Chanel, but at that price it's a knockoff. It feels like. It tastes like. These examples all give the impression that you mean the opposite of what your senses tell you. Practice the intonation difference between new information and opinion. It sounds like rain. It's rain. It sounds like rain, but it's not. 3. Contrast. He likes rain, but he hates snow. Like and hate are contrasted and are the stronger words in the sentence. 4. Can't. It can't rain when there are no clouds. Contractions, shouldn't, wouldn't, etc., and negatives, no, not, ever, are important words since they totally negate the meaning of a sentence, but they're usually not stressed. Can't is the exception. Exercise 1-6. Pitch and meaning change. Practice saying the 4 sentences after me. Pay close attention to the changes in pitch that you must make to convey the different meanings intended. The words to be stressed are indicated in boldface. 1. It sounds like rain. 2. It sounds like rain. 3. He likes rain, but he hates snow. 4. It can't rain on my parade. He can't do it. Exercise 1-7. Individual practice. Practice saying the sentences after the suggestion and the beep tone. You'll be given only a short time in which to reply so that you won't have the leisure to overthink. Start speaking as soon as you hear the tone because I'll be saying the sentence only a few seconds later. 1. Convey the information that it really does sound as if rain is falling. 2. Convey the opinion that although it has the sound of rain, it may be something else. 3. Convey the different feelings that someone has about rain and snow. 4. Convey the fact that rain is an impossibility right now. Pause the CD. Practice the 4 sentences on your own 10 times. Once you're familiar with moving the stress around and feeling how the meaning changes, turn the CD on to continue with the next exercise. Exercise 1-8. Meaning of pretty. Native speakers make a clear distinction between pretty easily, and pretty easily, a little difficult. Repeat the answers after me, paying close attention to your stress. Question. How do you like the movie? Answer. 1. It was pretty good. She liked it. 2. It was pretty good. She didn't like it much. Exercise 1-9. Inflection. Notice how the meaning changes while the actual words stay the same. 1. I didn't say he stole the money. Someone else said it. 2. I didn't say he stole the money. That's not true at all. 3. I didn't say he stole the money. I only suggested the possibility. 4. I didn't say he stole the money. I think someone else took it. 5. I didn't say he stole the money. Maybe he just borrowed it. 6. I didn't say he stole the money, but rather some other money. 7. I didn't say he stole the money. He may have taken some jewelry. Exercise 1-10. Individual practice. Now let's see what you can do with the same sentence just by changing the stress around to different words. I'll tell you which meaning to express. When you hear the tone, say the sentence as quickly as you can, then I'll say the sentence for you. To test your ear, I'm going to repeat the sentences in random order. Try to determine which word I'm stressing. The answers are given in parentheses, but don't look unless you really have to. Here we go. 1. Indicate that he borrowed the money and didn't steal it. I didn't say he stole the money. Maybe he just borrowed it. 2. Indicate that you're denying having said that he stole it. I didn't say he stole the money. That's not true at all. 3. Indicate that you think he stole something besides money. I didn't say he stole the money. He may have taken some jewelry. 4. Indicate that you were not the person to say it. I didn't say he stole the money. Someone else said it. 5. Indicate that you don't think that he was the person who stole it. I didn't say he stole the money. I think someone else took it. 6. Indicate that you didn't say it outright, but did suggest it in some way. I didn't say he stole the money. I only suggested the possibility. 7. Indicate that he may have stolen a different amount of money. I didn't say he stole the money, but rather some other money. Overdo it. Practice these sentences on your own, really exaggerating the word that you think should be stressed. In the beginning, you're going to feel that this is ridiculous. Nobody stresses this hard. Nobody talks like this. People are going to laugh at me. Yet as much as you may stress, you're probably only going to be stressing about half as much as you should. Pause the CD and practice the sentences in random order 10 times. Another reason you must over-exaggerate is because when you get tired, emotional, or relaxed, you'll stop paying attention. When this happens, like a rubber band, you're going to snap back to the way you originally were sounding, 10%. So if you just stretch yourself to the exact position where you ideally want to be, you'll go back almost completely to the old way when you relax. For practice, then, stretch yourself far beyond the normal range of intonation, 150% or so. So when you relax back to a standard American sound, 100%. We all do it. Possibly about this time you're thinking, well, maybe you do this in English, but in my language, I just really don't think we do this. I'd like you to try a little Welcome to American Accent Training. Exercise 111, Translation. Take the sentence, I didn't say he stole the money, and translate it into your native language. Write it down below using whatever letters or characters you use in your language. Welcome to American Accent Training. Now that you've written your sentence down, try shifting the stress around in your own language by going through the stress patterns 1 through 7 in Exercise 1-9. Don't try to put on a particularly American or other accent. Just concentrate on stressing a different word in the sentence each time you say it. Welcome to American Accent Training. For example, if your language is German, ich habe nicht gesagt, dass das Geld gestohlen hat, you would change the stress to ich habe nicht gesagt, dass das Geld gestohlen hat, or ich habe nicht gesagt, dass das Geld gestohlen hat. If you translated it into French, you would say je n'ai pas dit qu'il a volé l'argent, or je n'ai pas dit qu'il a volé l'argent. Welcome to American Accent Training. In Japanese, many people think there are no intonation changes, but if you hear someone say, wakanai, you'll realize that it has similarities to every other language. Watashi wa kare ga okane o nusunda to wa imasen deshita. Or perhaps, watashi wa kare ga okane o nusunda to wa imasen deshita. Welcome to American Accent Training. No matter how strange it may sound to you, stress each different word several times in your language. You may notice that with some words it sounds perfectly normal, but with other words it sounds very strange. Or you may find that in your language, rather than stressing a word, you prefer to change the word order or substitute another word. Welcome to American Accent Training. Whatever you do is fine, as long as you realize where your language patterns are similar to and different from the American English intonation patterns. Then, when you do it again in English, it'll be much easier. Note, an excellent exercise is to practice speaking your native language with an American accent. If you can sound like an American speaking your native language, imagine how easy it would be to speak English with an American accent. Pause the CD and practice shifting the stressed words in your native language. Welcome to American Accent Training. Intonation contrast. Below are two sentences. The first is stressed on the most common everyday word, book. 9 times out of 10, people will stress the sentence in this way. The second sentence has a less common but perfectly acceptable intonation since we're making a distinction between two possible locations. Normal intonation. Where's the book? It's on the table. Changed intonation. Is the book on the table or under it? It's on the table. Pause the CD and repeat the sentences. Welcome to American Accent Training. Exercise 112. Create your own intonation contrast. Write a short sentence and indicate where you think the most normal intonation would be placed. Then, change the meaning of the sentence slightly and change the intonation accordingly. Exercise 113, Variable Stress. Notice how the meaning of the following sentence changes each time we change the stress pattern. You should be starting to feel in control of your sentences now. 1. What would you like? This is the most common version of the sentence, and it's just a simple request for information. 2. What would you like? This is to single out an individual from a group. 3. What would you like? You've been discussing the kinds of things that he might like, and you want to determine his specific desires. Now that you mention it, what would you like? Or, he has rejected several things, and a little exasperated, you ask, if you don't want any of these, what would you like? 4. What would you like? You didn't hear, and you'd like the speaker to repeat herself. Or, you can't believe what you just heard. I'd like strawberry jam on my asparagus. What would you like? Turn off the CD and repeat the 4 sentences. Exercise 114. Make a variable stress sentence. Now you decide which words should be emphasized. Write a normal everyday sentence with at least 7 words and put it through as many changes as possible. Try to make a pitch change for each word in the sentence and think about how it changes the meaning of the entire sentence. Application of intonation. There is always at least one stressed word in a sentence, and frequently you can have quite a few if you're introducing a lot of new information or if you want to contrast several things. Look at the exercise in Exercise 115. Take a pencil and mark every word that you think should be stressed or sound stronger than the words around it. I'd like you to make just an accent mark to indicate a word you think should sound stronger than the others around it. Reminder. The 3 ways to change your voice for intonation are 1. Volume, speak louder, 2. Length, stretch out a word, and 3. Pitch, change your tone. Pause the CD and work on the paragraph below. Exercise 115, Application of Stress. Mark every word or syllable with an accent mark where you think that the sound is stressed. Use the first sentence as your example. Check the answer key beginning on page 193. Pause the CD. Listen and remark the stressed words with your marker. After you've put in the accent marks where you think they belong, take one of the colored translucent markers and as I read very slowly, mark the words that I stress. I'm going to exaggerate the words far more than you'd normally hear in a normal reading of the paragraph. You can mark either the whole word or just the strong syllable, whichever you prefer, so that you have a bright spot of color for where the stress should fall. Hello. My name is Anne. I'm taking American accent training. There's a lot to learn, but I hope to make it as enjoyable as possible. I should pick up on the American intonation pattern pretty easily, although the only way to get it is to practice all the time. I use the up and down or peaks and valleys intonation more than I used to. I've been paying attention to pitch, too. It's like walking down a staircase. I've been talking to a lot of Americans lately, and they tell me that I'm easier to understand. Anyway, I could go on, but the important thing is to listen well and sound good. Well, what do you think? Do I? Welcome to American Accent Training. Exercise 116, Paragraph Intonation Practice. From your color-marked copy, read each sentence of the paragraph in Exercise 115 after me. Use your rubber band, give a clear pitch change to the highlighted words, and think about the meaning that the pitch is conveying. Back up the CD and practice this paragraph 3 times. Then pause the CD and practice 3 times on your own. Exercise 117, Staircase Intonation Practice. Draw one step of the staircase for each word of the paragraph. Start a new staircase for every stressed word. There usually is more than one staircase in a sentence. New sentences don't have to start new staircases. They can continue from the previous sentence until you come to a stressed word. I'll read the beginning sentences. Check the first sentence against the example. Then put the words of the second sentence on a staircase based on the way I read it. Remember, I'm exaggerating to make a point. Hello. My name is Anne. I'm taking American accent training. There's a lot to learn, but I hope to make it as enjoyable as possible. I should pick up on the American intonation pattern pretty easily, although the only way to get it is to practice all of the time. I use the up and down or peaks and valleys intonation more than I used to. I've been paying attention to pitch, too. It's like walking down a staircase. I've been talking to a lot of Americans lately, and they tell me that I'm easier to understand. Anyway, I could go on, but the important thing is to listen well and sound good. Well, what do you think? Do I? Write out the rest of the staircases. Turn the CD back on to check your staircases with the way I read the paragraph. Pause the CD again to check your staircases in the answer key beginning on page 193. Back up the CD and listen and repeat my reading of the paragraph while following the staircases in the answer key. Hello, my name is Anne. I'm taking American accent training. There's a lot to learn, but I hope to make it as enjoyable as possible. I should pick up on the American intonation pattern pretty easily, although the only way to get it is to practice all of the time. I use the up and down or peaks and valleys intonation more than I used to. I've been paying attention to pitch, too. It's like walking down a staircase. I've been talking to a lot of Americans lately, and they tell me that I'm easier to understand. Anyway, I could go on, but the important thing is to listen well and sound good. Well, what do you think? Do I? Exercise 118. Reading with staircase intonation. Read the following with clear intonation where marked. Hello, my name is Anne. I'm taking American accent training. There's a lot to learn, but I hope to make it as enjoyable as possible. I should pick up on the American intonation pattern pretty easily, although the only way to get it is to practice all the time. I use the up and down or peaks and valleys intonation more than I used to. I've been paying attention to pitch, too. It's like walking down a staircase. I've been talking to a lot of Americans lately, and they tell me that I'm easier to understand. Anyway, I could go on, but the important thing is to listen well and sound good. Well, what do you think? Do I? Welcome to American Accent Training. Exercise 119, Spelling and Numbers. Just as there is stress in words or phrases, there is intonation in spelling and numbers. Americans seem to spell things out much more than other people. In any bureaucratic situation, you'll be asked to spell names and give all kinds of numbers, your phone number, your birth date, and so on. There's a distinct stress and rhythm pattern to both spelling and numbers, usually in groups of 3 or 4 letters or numbers, with the stress falling on the last member of the group. Acronyms, phrases that are represented by the first letter of each word, and initials are usually stressed on the last letter. Just listen to the words as I say them, then repeat the spelling after me. IBM, MIT, PhD, MBA, LA, IQ, RSVP, TV, USA, ASAP, CIA, FBI, USMC, COD, SOS, XYZ, Box, BOX, Cook, COOK, Wilson, WILSON, Area code 213, zip code 94708, date 9662, phone number 9132. Exercise 120, Sound Meaning Shifts. Intonation is powerful. It can change meaning and pronunciation. Here, you'll get the chance to play with the sounds. Remember, in the beginning, the meaning isn't that important. Just work on getting control of your pitch changes. Use your rubber band for each stressed word. My tie. My tie. Might I? My keys. My keys. My keys. In key. In key. Inky. My tea. Mighty. My D. I have two. I have two. I have to. How many kids do you have? I have two. I've been to Europe. I have two. Why do you work so hard? I have to. Exercise 121, Squeezed Out Syllables. Intonation can also completely get rid of certain entire syllables. Some longer words that are stressed on the first syllable squeeze weak syllables right out. Cover up the regular columns and read the words between the brackets. Actually, average, aspirin, broccoli, business, camera, chocolate, comfortable, corporal, desperate, diamond, diaper, different, emerald, vegetable, beverage, bakery, Catholic, nursery, onion, every, family, finally, general, groceries, interest, jewelry, mathematics, memory, orange, probably, restaurant, separate, several, liberal, conference, coverage, history, accidentally, basically. Welcome to American Accent Training. Syllable stress. Syllable count intonation patterns. In spoken English, if you stress the wrong syllable, you can totally lose the meaning of a word. Machine is hardly recognizable as machine. At this point, we won't be concerned with why we're stressing a particular syllable. That understanding will come later. Exercise 122. Syllable patterns. In order to practice accurate pitch change, repeat the following column. Each syllable will count as one musical note. Remember that words that end in a vowel or voiced consonant will be longer than ones ending in an unvoiced consonant. La, cat, jump, box, la, dog, see, plan, la la, a dog, a cat, destroy, a pen, pretend, your job, pea soup, la la, hot dog, icy, suitcase, project, sunset, get one, do it, la la la, Bob's hot dog, Bob won't know, Sam's the boss, Susie's nice, Bill went home, cats don't care, stocks can fall, school is fun, la 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 la, a hot dog, I don't know, he's the boss, we cleaned up, in the bag, for a while, I went home, we don't care, it's in March, la la la, a hot dog, I don't know, Jim killed it, tomorrow, a fruitcake, the engine, a wine glass, potato, whatever, la la la, hot dog stand, I don't know, analyze, article, dinner time, digital, analog, cell structure, la 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 la, Spot's a hot dog, Jim killed a snake, Joe doesn't know, Nate bought a book, Al brought some ice, la 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 la, it's a hot dog, he killed a snake, he doesn't know, we came back in, he bought a book, la 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 la, Bob likes hot dogs, Ann eats pancakes, cats eat fish bones, bears are fuzzy, planets rotate, la 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 la, it's my hot dog, imitation, analytic, we like science, my to-do list, la 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 la, a hot dog stand, Jim killed a man, analysis, invisible, a platypus, la 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 la, permanently, demonstrated, category, office supplies, educator. Exercise 123, syllable count test. Put the following words into the proper category based on the syllable count intonation. Write the pattern number in the space provided. Check answer key beginning on page 193. Complex intonation. Word count intonation patterns. This is the beginning of an extremely important part of spoken American English. The rhythms and intonation patterns of the long streams of nouns and adjectives that are so commonly used. These exercises will tie in the intonation patterns of adjectives, nouns, and adverbs. One way of approaching sentence intonation is not to build each sentence from scratch. Instead, use patterns, with each pattern similar to a mathematical formula. Instead of plugging in numbers, however, plug in words. In exercise 1-2, we looked at simple noun-verb-noun patterns, and in exercise 122 and 123, the syllable count intonation patterns were covered and tested. In exercises 124 to 137, we'll examine intonation patterns in two-word phrases. It's important to note that there's a major difference between syllable stress and compound noun stress patterns. In the syllable count exercises, each syllable was represented by a single musical note. In the noun phrases, each individual word will be represented by a single musical note, no matter how many total syllables there may be. At times, what appears to be a single syllable word will have a longer sound to it. Seed takes longer to say than seat, for example. This was introduced on page 3, where you learned that a final voice consonant causes the previous vowel to double. Exercise 124, single word phrases. Repeat the following noun and adjective sentences. 1. It's a nail. It's short. 2. It's a cake. It's chocolate. 3. It's a tub. It's hot. 4. It's a drive. It's hard. 5. It's a door. It's in back. 6. It's a card. There are 4. 7. It's a spot. It's small. 8. It's a book. It's good. Write your own noun and adjective sentences below. You'll be using these examples throughout this series of exercises. Two-word phrases. Descriptive phrases. Nouns are heavier than adjectives. They carry the weight of the new information. An adjective and a noun combination is called a descriptive phrase, and in the absence of contrast or other secondary changes, the stress will always fall naturally on the noun. In the absence of a noun, you'll stress the adjective, but as soon as a noun appears on the scene, it takes immediate precedence and should be stressed. Exercise 125. Sentence stress with descriptive phrases. Repeat the following phrases. 1. It's short. It's a short nail. 2. It's chocolate. It's a chocolate cake. 3. It's good. It's a good plan. 4. It's guarded. It's a guarded gate. 5. It's wide. It's a wide river. 6. There are 4. There are 4 cards. 7. It was small. It was a small spot. 8. It's the best. It's the best book. Pause the CD and write your own adjective and noun-adjective sentences. Use the same words from Exercise 124. Exercise 126. 2 types of descriptive phrases. Repeat. 1. It's a short nail. It's really short. 2. It's a chocolate cake. It's dark chocolate. 3. It's a hot bath. It's too hot. 4. It's a hard drive. It's extremely hard. 5. It's the back door. It's far back. 6. There are 4 cards. There are only 4. 7. It's a small spot. It's laughably small. 8. It's a good book. It's amazingly good. Pause the CD and write your own adjective, noun, and adverb-adjective sentences, carrying over from Exercise 125. Exercise 127. Descriptive phrase story. The Ugly Duckling. The following well-known story has been rewritten to contain only descriptions. Stress the second word of each phrase. Repeat after me. There's a mother duck. She lays 3 eggs. Soon there are 3 baby birds. 2 of the birds are very beautiful. One of them is quite ugly. The beautiful ducklings make fun of their ugly brother. The poor thing is very unhappy. As the 3 birds grow older, the ugly duckling begins to change. His gray feathers turn snowy white. His gangly neck becomes beautifully smooth. In early spring, the ugly duckling is swimming in a small pond in the backyard of the old farm. He sees his shimmering reflection in the clear water. What a great surprise! He's no longer an ugly duckling. He has grown into a lovely swan. Set phrases. A cultural indoctrination to American norms. Exercise 128. Sentence stress with set phrases. Repeat the following sentences. 1. It's a finger. It's a nail. It's a fingernail. 2. It's a pan. It's a cake. It's a pancake. 3. It's a tub. It's hot. It's a hot tub. 4. It's a drive. It's hard. It's a hard drive. 5. It's a bone. It's in back. It's the backbone. 6. It's a card. It's a trick. It's a card trick. 7. It's a spot. It's a light. It's a spotlight. 8. It's a book. It's a phone. It's a phone book. Pause the CD and write your own noun and set phrase sentences, carrying over the same nouns you used in Exercise 125. Remember, when you use a noun, include the article. When you use an adjective, you don't need an article. Exercise 129, Making Set Phrases. Pause the CD and add a noun to each word as indicated by the picture. Check answer key beginning on page 193. Exercise 130, Set Phrase Story, The Little Match Girl. The following story contains only set phrases as opposed to the descriptive story in Exercise 127. Stress the first word of each phrase. The little match girl was out in a snowstorm. Her feet were like ice cubes, and her fingertips had frostbite. She hadn't sold any matches since daybreak, and she had a stomach ache from the hunger pangs, but her stepmother would beat her with a broomstick if she came home with an empty coin purse. Looking into the bright living rooms, she saw Christmas trees and warm fireplaces. Out on the snowbank, she lit a match and saw the image of a grand dinner table of food before her. As the matchstick burned, the illusion slowly faded. She lit another one and saw a room full of happy family members. On the last match, her grandmother came down and carried her home. In the morning, the passers-by saw the little match girl. She had frozen during the nighttime, but she had a smile on her face. Contrasting a description and a set phrase. We now have two main intonation patterns, first word stress and second word stress. In the following exercise, we'll contrast the two. Exercise 131, Contrasting Descriptive and Set Phrases. Repeat after me. 1. It's a short nail. It's a fingernail. 2. It's a chocolate cake. It's a pancake. 3. It's a hot bath. It's a hot tub. 4. It's a long drive. It's a hard drive. 5. It's the back door. It's the backbone. 6. There are 4 cards. It's a card trick. 7. It's a small spot. It's a spotlight. 8. It's a good book. It's a phone book. Pause the CD and rewrite your descriptive phrases, Exercise 125, and set phrases, Exercise 128. Exercise 132, Two-word stress. Repeat the following pairs. A light bulb. A light bulb. Blue pants. Blue jeans. A cold fish. A goldfish. A gray hound. A greyhound. An old key. An in key. A white house. The White House. A nice watch. A wristwatch. A sticky web. A spider web. A clean cup. A coffee cup. A sharp knife. A steak knife. A baby alligator. A baby bottle. A shiny tack. Thumbtacks. A wire brush. A hairbrush. A new ball. A football. A toy gun. A machine gun. A silk bow. A Band-Aid. a bright star, a firecracker, Mary Jones, a mailbox, Bob Smith, a spray can, foreign affairs, a wine glass, down payment, a footprint, New York,